series of videos regarding the SSLC syllabus. Today I am going to deal one of the important chapter that is called as freedom movement. Here this chapter is very important in the point of view of scoring more marks, because from this chapter you will get a question for 4 marks, and it is very easy to understand as well as very easy to write also, and because it give very good marks and full marks to you. That's why here this chapter is very important. As far as the freedom movement is concerned, before the freedom movement, that is of our India, here this movement is already started by the various kings, and they fought, the kings as well as even the queens also fought against the British for their political goals. But they have no any particular nationalistic or nationalism concept. Then also it is having a spirit of nationalism, and that's why it can be considered as a, that is beginning of nationalism. Beginning of nationalism. The struggles which were made, or the wars or battles which were made by the kings and queens of India. Here this was the condition, and later here during the 19th century, so many developments took place. Though it may be not considered as a good developments and great developments when we compare to the other countries of the world, then also some developments took place in our India during British rule. And the developments took place in the field of communication, and even the developments took place in the field of road transport, roads and railway transport, and even there were developments in the field of education and even journalism. So many developments took place, and these developments took place in India, but along with this development there were also, that is sufferings of the people. Here the sufferings of common people. Here how? Because of the hardship and the hard policies of the Britishers, and even the geographical that is calamities like even the famine and other various things are responsible for the sufferings of the people. And even already you came to know in the during 1857 first war of independence, when many kings were their positions were removed, and that led to the unemployment of many soldiers. These soldiers also suffered a lot, and all these are responsible for the 1857 revolt or first war of independence. This first war of independence took place, and already in the previous chapter you came to know that what are the causes for the 1857 revolt, what are the results of the 1857 revolt, and what are the effects of the 1857 revolt. Those things are not needed to discuss here. Here after 1857 revolt, what happened in 1858? One of the important development took place in our India, that is the East India Company's rule came to an end, and the Queen of England directly took the administration in her hand. That is the Queen of England. 1857. Here Company's rule came to an end. Company rule came to an end, and Queen took the powers or the administration directly in her hands. And after that, one important thing here we have to remember or to know is that 1861 Act. Here this act is very important, because this act is responsible for development of the nationalism as well as uniting the Indians in one platform. That is 1861 Act. What is that thing which responsible for bringing the Indians in one platform? That is, here according to 1861 Act, here representation was given. Representation for Indians. Representation for Indians in assemblies. Here, representation for Indians in assemblies was given. Now the Indians got a chance. That is, they got an opportunity to get together and come in a common platform and discuss the various problems of our India, as well as they come from the various distant places of India, and they come to know about the what problems and how they can that is get together, form association and fight against India, that is the Britishers, and develop a concept of nationalism among the Indians. Here, this is the things. Now, here, this is also responsible for the development of various institutions before the Indian National Congress. Before Indian National Congress, some of the associations came together or were founded in order to develop that is a nationalism. Here we try to know about which are those institutions or associations. The first one is Hindu Mela. Hindu Mela. Then another association by name of All India Association. All India Association. Go on noting these important points which will be very helpful for you to, that is write the answer for a that is a 4-mark question or 3-mark question. Here, Hindu Mela, All India Association, as well as Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. These associations and other associations were came to founded during that time, and they had a intention, they had an aim of creating nationalism among the Indians, and they took the help of various newspapers. Because during that time already newspapers were circulating, and in various languages also, particularly in the vernacular languages or regional languages, newspapers were published. With the help of these newspapers, they can reach the common people and Indians. These were not tolerated by the British. These were not tolerated by the British, and that led to the passing of one of a important act by Lord Lytton. Lord Lytton. He passed one of a act called Vernacular Act. Vernacular Act. And according to this act, the independence and the freedom of the Indian press was curbed. Here, the freedom of press was curbed. And because of this reason, here these associations could not freely express their feelings, express their ideas, could reach the people. This was the condition, and later here, when this was the condition, here one of the important new association came into emergence, that is called as Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress, in order to fight against the ideas of British. Here, in order to get the facilities from the British, one of a association came into emergence, that is called as INC or Indian National Congress. This association, here we have to know about who was the founder of this association, what this association had aims, and how they try to fulfill their objectives. Here we have to know about. As far as the beginning of this Indian National Congress is concerned, it was started in the year 1885. It was started in the year 1885, and the founder of this association was A.O. Hume. A.O. Hume was the founder of this association. And who was Hume? This A.O. Hume was a retired civil servant. This retired civil servant started an association that is by name Indian National Congress, INC. And the first session, the first convention of this Congress took place in the same year, that is in 1885, and that convention took place in the Bombay. First convention of Indian National Congress in Bombay. During that time it was called as Bombay. Presently it is having a name called Mumbai. Here this Bombay. The first president who presided over the meeting of this Congress was W.C. Banerjee. W.C. Banerjee was the first president of Indian National Congress who presided over the meeting. It is about the founding of this association. After knowing about the foundation of this association, let us try to know about the aims of this association and methods of this association called Indian National Congress. What was the aim? Very important aim of this association was, that is developing national unity. It is very important thing here. You have to remember national unity and bringing unity and integrity among the Indians. Unity and integrity among the Indians was the main aim of this association. And what methods they adopted during that time? Methods adopted by the Indian National Congress. Here they adopted the method of that is meetings, as well as even addressing the people with the help of newspapers, reaching the people with the help of newspapers, publishing various kind of articles in the newspapers, and try to develop the nationalism among the Indians. It was their methods. And here, when these were the conditions are going, because here they had a very important aim, that is the development of national unity. But the Britishers never wanted unity among the Indians, because if the Indians get united means they are going to lose India. That's why they adopted one of important policy in order to disintegrate the Indians, and that is the policy what they adopted is called as a divide and rule. Divide and rule policy. Now they never allow the Indians to get united. It is the here, but the National Congress wanted to get the unity of Indians or integrity of Indians, and in order to break that unity, they adopted divide and rule policy. During this time, when these things were going on, now in order to divide the Indians, now they try to divide even the National Congress also. And during the 19th century, here this Indian National Congress developed differences. Many members get differences, and some members adopted very soft attitude towards the British, and some wanted to have a harsh attitude towards the British. Because of this reason, here the Congress was divided into two groups. One is called as moderates, and another is called as radicals. The Congress divided into two groups. One is moderates, another one is called as radicals. Here, let us try to know about who are the moderates, who are the radicals, and what are the methods adopted by these two ones. Because here, if the question is asked from this concept, there will be a separate question for mention the methods of moderates, or mention the methods of radicals. Like that, there will be a separate question for these two concepts. Let us try to know about the moderates. Who are moderates? These moderates adopted a soft attitude towards the British. They had a faith. One thing is they had faith in that is the British administration, as well as even in their judiciary. They had faith in the administration and judiciary. They are not against the administration. They are not against the rule of the British, and they had a faith in that one. And they had a belief in the putting memorandums, or even the requests. They used to put memorandums before the British, requesting the British in order to get the facilities. Means they wanted the development of industries, as well as development of Indian education system. They wanted to changes in these systems. In the industries, developing our the household industries or indigenous industries and putting restrictions on the here. In this manner, the development of industries, education were the aims. And in order to put those demands, they adopted a very soft attitude towards the British, that is British, and the important moderate. Who are the important moderates here? Already you came to know about that is W.C. Banerjee and even Dada Bhai Nauroji and Gopal Krishna Gokhale, G.K. Gokhale, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Surendranath Banerjee, W.C. Banerjee, and even Badruddin Tayyabji, and other various freedom fighters were there. Those who are called as moderates. And here, among these people, one person is very important, that is called as Dada Bhai Nauroji. Let us try to know about what is the concept of this person, Dada Bhai Nauroji. This Dada Bhai Nauroji put forward one of a theory called the drain theory. What is this drain theory? According to Dada Bhai Nauroji, the wealth of our India is draining or flowing. It is flowing towards England. In what manner? Our wealth is flowing in the manner of here the profits which are earned by the British, and the taxes which are collected by the British, and even the salaries which are getting by the British, and even the pensions which are getting by the British, everything they are taking that to the England, and that is not beneficial for our Indians. This person took a scientific statics of how our wealth is draining towards the England, and it is the main cause for our poverty. India is a rich country, and it is considered as a very rich in the ancient times, even in the medieval times. But here the poverty during that time, during 19th century, is not because of the resources of India, but because of the exploitation of these Britishers. They make this place as only a marketplace, as well as even that is causing sufferings for the Indians. That's why our drain theory was put forward by Dada Bhai Nauroji, and he said the poverty of India is due to the policy of the British, and we have to and they put a demand for in front of British in order to develop our industries and stop the imports and start the exports. It is if the imports were stopped and exports are started, that is develop our economy. This is about the conditions of moderates. And here, this after the moderates, the next are called as radicals. Why they are called as radicals? They are different from the moderates because these radicals never believe in the methods of moderates. What the requesting method? They according to them, India is our country. Why we should make request in front of them? It is our right to get. It is the whatever facilities the Britishers they are giving. It is not any kind of that is our right. They should give us. This is according to radicals. Because of that reason, here they called moderates as political beggars. They call radicals as political beggars. They are begging. We should not beg in front of the British. It is our right. We have to snatch from their hands. It is according to the radicals. They adopted a very that is harsh method, and the moderates adopted very that is soft method. It is about the difference between the moderates and radicals. Among the important radicals are Aurobindo Ghosh, then Lala Lajpat Rai, then Bal Gangadhar Tilak, then Bipin Chandra Pal. That is, they are called as Lal, Bal, and Pal. And these three persons, along with the Aurobindo Ghosh, they are called as radicals, and they adopted that is methods which are totally different from the methods of a moderate. They put that is various they create awareness among Indians in order to fight for the nationalism, in order to develop the concepts. And during the time of these radicals, how they got a very prominent importance in the Indian history. During that time, one important event took place, that is called as the partition of Bengal. Partition of Bengal is a very important event took place during that time. How this partition of Bengal is because the radicals had a very good movements in the Bengal region. In the Bengal region, these the sentiments of the Indians are very good one, and they try to oppose the Indian that is British system. In order to curb this one, in order to prevent this kind of sentiments among the Indians in the Bengal region, what their policy did by the British is again the divide and rule policy. Here they divided the Bengal into two pieces. One is the West Bengal, as well as another one is called as East Bengal. This West Bengal consists of more majority were Hindus, and in East Bengal majority were Muslims. Now they started playing a card, a religion card here, in order to divide the people in the name of Hindu and Muslim. It was what we are seeing even in our present political conditions. This was not in the present time, but it was already started by the British during the freedom movement. They divided the Hindus and Muslims in order to develop the disunity and the disintegrity among the Indians. And here, this is the partition of Bengal, which was took place in the year 1905. Here, after the partition of this Bengal, now the movement got more stimulus, and now the people, these radicals, reach the doors of the people and create sentiments as well as nationalism. And ultimately, they were opposing the partition of Bengal, and Britishers has to accept. And this demands in 1911, again the policy of the Bengal partition was took back by the British, and again the Bengal was merged. The East Bengal and West Bengal were merged in the year 1911. It is about the partition of Bengal. And here, among the radicals, one important person we have to know about is the Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Tilak, a very important person in the freedom movement of our India, very important among the radicals. What this person had concepts. The first thing what he said is Swaraj is my birthright. Swaraj is my birthright, and I shall have it. Swaraj, the independence, freedom, it is not that is given by any one person. It is my birthright. I should have it, and everyone should give it. The Britishers, I have to get this freedom from the British. Is my right. It is not a begging thing. It was the concept of Tilak, and this Tilak adopted various methods in order to create nationalism among Indians. One of the important methods what he adopted was the festivals, because these Britishers always try to curb the nationalism as well as any kind of movement, and they never allow the people to gather in one place. And in order to allow all the people to gather in one place, he started many festivals. Among those, one is Ganesh procession, as well as Shivaji Jayanti and Durga Puja or Durga festival. These are the festivals which were started by Tilak in order to organize the people, in order to exchange the ideas how to fight against the British and how to draw the British away from India. He had that intention, and he started many newspapers. Among the newspapers, one is called as Maratha. This was published in English language, Maratha, and another one is called as Kesari. It was published in the Marathi language, and he reached the ideas of nationalism to the common people and every people with the help of these newspapers. And ultimately, this Tilak became a very enemy for the British rule in India. That's why he was imprisoned. And kept in a jail. And while he was in jail, there also he never remained silent. But there also he write one of the important book in order to create awareness among the Indians. And that book he wrote in the by name Gita Rahasya. This book was written by Tilak in the prison, and that book is also very responsible for creating nationalistic and nationalism among the Indians. These are the thing about the Tilak, and it is very important one because many times the question is asked about the Tilak, and you have to write one by one the very important contributions and the methods which are adopted by the Tilak. After this, the moderates and radicals. The third group of people who participated in the freedom movement, those are called as revolutionaries. What is the difference between the radicals, moderates and revolutionaries? These revolutionaries never believe in any kind of talk and any kind of methods. They just believe in the violent methods. Of getting independence. That is one of a statement in Hindi, that is लातों के भूत बातों से नहीं मानते. Like that here, they thought that they will not listen, and they never go from our India by talk, but they will be drove from our India by adopting the violent methods. War is the only method, and we have to fight against the British. We should take the gun, we should adopt the bombs in order to create fear among the British and draw them from India. It was the methods which were adopted by the revolutionaries. And here, these kind of revolutionary organizations which were started in our India as well as even in other parts of the world by the Indians who were in the other parts of the world, they also started their associations. I will mention some of the important names of the association which were started in the other parts of the world. One is called as Lotus and Dagger. It is one of association which was started in the UK or London itself. There itself one of association was started, and another association by name of Ghadar Party. This party was or association was started in US. That is the US. And along with those associations, many associations were started in our India. I want to mention some of the here. Abhinava Bharata, then Anushilana Samiti, and so many organizations were started, and these organizations had a aim of adopting violent methods, creating the nationalism and nationalistic feelings among the Indians, and make the Indians to fight against the British and draw them back from our India. This is the methods which are adopted, and here these are the association. What are the methods they adopted? They adopted the methods of using guns and using the bombs. Using weapons is the very important method what is adopted by the revolutionaries. Among the various important revolutionaries here are Aurobindo Ghosh, then Ras Bihari Bose, and others like Rajguru, Ashfaq Ali Khan, Ashfaq Ullah Khan, then Chandrasekhar Azad, Ram Prasad Bismil, and so many important revolutionaries are there, and they put an effort in order to fight against the British, and they adopted a violent method and created fear among the Britishers. Although these methods were adopted, that is quickly they could not attain independence. But here the independence we got later with the non-violent methods. But they are also having a very good role because of these one things. Here our India became a independent. We got independence, and by in order to conclude this chapter, I would like to tell you that this chapter will fetch you very good marks. You have to make important points of this chapter, and for my further videos, you have to subscribe this channel as well as like this channel and share this channel. And if you support this one, it will I also get encouragement to make more videos. Thank you.